Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in the channel Child More. Please be sure to comment, like, subscribe to the channel Child More. Please remember to keep the comments just not offensive. If you're not subscribed to the channel Child More, please hit the bell notification to get notifications when the channel receives uploads. Hello everyone, how are you doing? So, Sony is, stopping with, physical copies of games in 2028. This is an anti-consumer move. Yeah, you know what? By 2027, there's going to be what I actually have a feeling is PS5 physical, like physical game scalpers. That is something that I actually have a feeling of. Because there are people that were not, or I shouldn't say were, I should say would be quite frustrated that Sony is going to make all games be coming or releasing on a physical, like, as a digital only. Okay? That meaning that people be having to spend their money on the actual price of the game. Alright? Alright. And you know what that means? That means if you went to Walmart and you purchased a download code, you'd be paying the actual price and stuff, thinking you could actually get a copy of the game for cheaper. It's not gonna work. Not in this situation. Alright, I know Walmart, you can get your stuff for cheaper than the offered price. But, you know, in this case, I would say, not so fast. Alright, if you think you can pull a fast one like that, it's not gonna work. Alright, because there are going to be, you know, Sony is going to say, hey, you want the game? You gotta fork up the money and pay us what the actual price for the digital copy of the game actually really is. Alright, yeah. And you know what? This is going to make a lot of people frustrated with Sony. And yet, this was... Now, I can imagine if Nintendo actually did this for the Switch and the Switch 2. Yes. And, let's say I own, the physical copy of Pocket Tournament DX. Alright? Now, if Nintendo came out with an update saying that all your physical copies of the games that you have for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 will no longer be playable. You have to get the digital copy. Yeah, you know what that'd do? That'd be like a waste of money, and that would be an anti-consumer move. And Nintendo is not really ready to go down this direction. Alright, I understand that physical copies of games is going to make you more money, but really, I mean, this isn't, you know, a lot of people are not going to be happy with. Alright, those that obviously like saving money, those that obviously don't want to pay the actual price for a game. Alright, maybe they want to buy it for cheaper. Alright, now, back in the day, you could only buy physical cartridges of Nintendo games. Like, you could buy, you know, you could buy, you can only buy physical copies of games. Okay? Back in the day. Back when we were in the GameCube days. And, yeah, and Nintendo was using discs at the time. They were using discs at the time. Through the GameCube era all the way to the Wii U. And then Nintendo stopped with discs after they came out with the Switch. They stuck with cartridges. But they were also using cartridges for the handheld system, such as the Game Boy Advance, the Nintendo DS, and the 3DS and 2DS. Yeah, you could also get your games digitally too if you chose. But never once did Nintendo want to go all digital. Alright, if you wanted to buy your games as a physical copy because you didn't want to spend all that money, or maybe you didn't want to spend all that, maybe you didn't want to, maybe you just didn't want to spend all that, maybe you didn't want to spend all that, all that, maybe you didn't want to spend all that storage, so you bought a physical copy of the game, because you just didn't want to sacrifice your storage for the you didn't want to sacrifice storage for, the digital version of the game. So, you bought your games in a physical copy. Yeah. Without sacrificing too much storage. Okay. Now, that was actually pretty good for Nintendo to still keep up with the physical releases of games. And I gotta tell you, it's also smart. Alright. It's also smart. Alright, there's companies that actually play this smart. Alright, I don't think Microsoft is ready to go down this rabbit hole. The same rabbit hole that Sony is going to dig for himself. And not to mention that there's also backlash that comes with this. So, yeah. So, why would you, what do you think? I mean, hey, if I was only going digital, if my favorite company, Nintendo, was going all digital, you know what Nintendo would be doing? They'd be facing a lot of backlash for this. So would Sony. But, I would say at this point, I think Sony is going to just probably, I think they're going to learn the hard way. If Sony gets a lot of backlash for this, and they say, I could use Sony, I'm not going to be buying physical copies of games from you. I'd rather go with what Microsoft is doing, because they have physical discs as well, but they're also they offer digital copies of games too, or the Xbox Game Pass. And yeah, that would be the only company that would be making discs. They have to make discs for computers too. So, you know, I would just say, I would just say, it it's just, you know, I think this is just, you know, if Microsoft is going all digital, that'd be just like I said, they'd be receiving a lot of backlash for this. And why? Because, you know, people want to save, people want to save money. They want to save money, and they don't want to consume all that storage in the terabyte hard drive. So, yeah. So, what do you have to say about that? I would say that, you know, for Microsoft to go down this direction, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. It's certainly not a good idea for Sony to be doing this. So, yeah. But they're doing this for money anyway, so, yeah. I would say, heck with you, Sony. I'm not buying, stuff from you anymore in 2028 because, you know, you basically are like, you're just, like, you want the customers buying digital copies of games, and you want them paying the actual price of physical, like, digital games so that you can make more money. You don't really care about the customers, Sony. You don't. And, you know, if you stuck with Nintendo the whole time, I would say, I'm sure that the CEO of Nintendo would say to you that you're not making a smart decision. Alright, customers, our customers want physical copies of games, but they also like digital copies. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea to go all digital, because if that happens, then we as a company would actually be receiving a lot of backlash for this, and we can't have that. But Sony couldn't agree with Nintendo on the Sony PlayStation, so they separated. Nintendo could have been the guide for this. Nintendo could have actually guided you in the right direction. Cause, well, you know why it's a bad idea for Sony to be doing this? Well, it's because, well, you know, it's just, you know, I think it's just an anti-consumer move. It's just a move that, you know, it's not right for Sony to be doing this. You know, I just have to say that this just is not a smart move for Sony. It's just not a smart move for Sony. And I wouldn't be surprised in 2028 when they start figuring out that every customer out there hates Sony for what kind of move that they actually made in 2028. They're gonna be like, heck with you, Sony. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm done with your physical, or I'm done with your digital only games and that stuff. I'm done with you, eating all that money out of my wallet and that stuff. And I'm like, no more. No more. Heck with you, Sony. Heck with you. I'm switching over to Microsoft because they have physical copies of the games and they do digital too, but Microsoft isn't ready to give up the physical copies of games. And Nintendo is doing the same. They're not ready to give up the physical cartridges of all the copies of their games. There's only like digital eShop exclusive that you can get, yeah. But Microsoft or Nintendo is not ready to go all digital. At least not just yet. Maybe in 2030, maybe then they would. But if Microsoft makes that decision, then that's them. If Nintendo is going all digital too, then that would be the fault. There. I would have to have, like, okay, maybe if Nintendo made the Nintendo Switch 3, that could take up a lot of storage, like a 1 terabyte of storage, that would be nice. I wouldn't care if Nintendo went all digital. I would just want to make sure that I have like a terabyte of storage so that I have room for all of Nintendo's games that get out on the Nintendo Switch and the other companies that actually make a lot of their games. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem going all digital for Nintendo, but yes, it's more money in the company's pockets. Yes, but, it's just, I would just say that when a company goes all digital, it's not a good consumer move. It's an anti-consumer move. And, I have a feeling in 2027, probably by the end of 2027, there's probably going to be a lot of PS5 scalpers out there. Yeah. And you would probably hear this on the news too, where people would actually, now, there are people that do this. People could end up finding, this is crazy, but people could end up camping at, near a GameStop or a Best Buy and wait until morning to go early and, buy all the physical copies of their favorite PS5 game and, buy it before everybody else. And it would just be so crazy. But it's because of Sony's anti-consumer move of going all digital. And I can understand it. But at the same time, I would say PS5 scalpers it wouldn't be good either. Because what scalping is basically you buy physical cartridges of games, and then you constantly buy the same physical game, or the physical games of other PS5 games, and you buy it before nobody else can do that. I mean, that's what scalping is. And that wouldn't be good. I mean, but hey, Sony is going to be making PS5 owners furious by going all digital, and this is not going to be pretty. And people will probably want to switch over to Microsoft because of Sony's anti-consumer move. Yeah. So, that's what I have to say in this video. Hopefully, people will understand exactly what is going on, and then, they won't be like, I could just sit back and just watch the fireworks just fly. No. But when the scalping actually starts happening, I won't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I could just sit back and just have my popcorn and just enjoy watching this comedy show, or entertainment, whatever you want to call it. And I can say that, well, this is what you did, Sony. This is what you made people do. Because if the PS5 scalping is going to happen, then you might start figuring out that, okay, I think we realize that this is a stupid move. This is probably like the worst move that we probably did. I mean, we gotta get the physical copies of games back, because we have to stop the PS5 scalpers out there, and the PS6 scalpers. If the PS6 actually got out in 2028, I wouldn't be surprised. I hope Sony would actually realize that when there's PS5 scalpers out there, I hope that they would actually make their decision like, wait, we need to make an announcement that we're not going to cancel physical copies of games, because we want to stop this PS5 scalping, because this is just, this isn't supposed to be tolerated. I hope that the CEO of Sony actually finds this out and actually learns this the hard way. Because once the PS5 scalping happens, I hope Sony will actually start making a business decision. I don't know when the PS5 scalping is going to happen in 2027, but it'll probably be something that will be on the news headlines at some point in 2027, where there are PS5 scalpers out there because of Sony's anti-consumer move, making the announcement that they're going all digital in 2028, and that would actually make the CEO of Sony come up with a statement, alright, to stop this PS5 scalping, we're not getting rid of physical copies of games. Because we can't tolerate this scalping out there. Yeah. That's gonna do it for this video. If you like what we said here, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, charge more. Again, please remember to keep the comments distant and unoffensive. And, you know, well, I guess Sony is probably going to go all digital in 2028. If there's PS5 scalpers out there in 2027, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. And if Sony pays attention to what's going on and figures out that getting rid of physical copies of games is not the best choice here, and Sony is making people serious over this going all digital in 2028, we gotta do something about this. We gotta stop bringing physical games back. Alright, because we can't tolerate this scalping going on. Or, if anything is possible, there might even be looting that would actually happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually happened. But, you know, if the looting that happens is going to be because Sony is going all digital in 2028. And I hope that the CEO of Sony is going to just figure this out the hard way and just make an announcement saying that, alright, to stop this scalping and looting going on for the PS5, we're not getting rid of physical copies of games. I hope that that would actually be what the CEO would actually say and make a statement out there, because there's probably going to be a time in 2027 where this is probably going to be going too far, and I wouldn't be surprised. But Sony, you've actually made customers pretty angry about this going up digital in 2028, and all you care about is money, which is why you said going all digital in 2028. You only care about money, and you only care about, which is the only thing you care about, is just money, I would imagine. And yet, this is just, you know, this is just an anti-consumer move you're making here, Sony. And you're going to make people fear that the physical copies of your games are just no longer going to be able to be bought after 2028 of August 1st. Physical copies of games will no longer be able to be purchased. The only thing that you're going to be able to buy is a digital download code. If you go to a GameStop or a Best Buy, the only thing that you're going to be able to buy for your Sony consoles is a digital download code. And yeah, that means more money, and Sony's cash registers, and it'll do the company even more good. Keep the company on its feet, yeah, but at the same time, you're making your customers frustrated. And that is an anti-consumer move. But we'll have to see what goes on. We'll have to see what time says. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. So like I said here, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe to the channel, try more. Again, please remember to keep the comments safe and not offensive. And, well, I guess going to all digital in 2028 is the path that Sony is going to go down. Have a good day. I will see you on the next video.